If your ex has left you feeling like you're walking on eggshells all the time, afraid to bring up something, anything, because they'll overreact, they'll get angry and dismissive, you're afraid to tell them when you're feeling something because you know that they'll take it as personal, like you're blaming them, when actually you're just trying to have a conversation about how you're feeling. And so does every conversation turn into some sort of crisis or some conflict? If you're being blamed for everything, whether that happened in the relationship or post-separation, then you're probably dealing with a high conflict personality. If you're trying to co-parent with them and you're finding actually this is more like counter-parenting, we can't have a conversation, we have completely different views about what's in the child's best interest, they make demands, they're still trying to control you, you're probably dealing with a high conflict personality. If you're dealing with someone whose version of truth and reality shifts faster than you change your socks, you're probably dealing with a high conflict personality. And this isn't normal conflict, despite what family court might think. This is something much deeper. So you're not imagining this. I deal with this all the time. This is the behaviours that I specialise in. You're not too sensitive. Far from it. Your body is picking up on this deep, horrible feeling and you're traumatised. All of this is a pattern and it's going to play out in your case. And what I've developed is something to help you understand how those behaviours can be translated into predicting your case and what they're going to do. But first off, what is a high conflict personality? So they're not just difficult people. Again, this is something that is used probably a bit too commonly. It's become almost, same with the term narcissist, it's been almost become a colloquial term for anyone who's a bit difficult. That's not what's going on here. This is much deeper. This is about their inner psychology, their motivation, their behaviours. And the good part about that is that because it is so deeply ingrained in them, it is usually a personality disorder and certainly a behavioural pattern, then we can predict, because they are predictable in what they do. You just need to get ahead of it and see it as a pattern as opposed to a person. You know, this is a pattern that they are revealing to you and they have been revealing to you. And these patterns, they're all designed to escalate conflict, avoid responsibility and create conflict, especially in legal settings. And that all fits with their own inner psychology of needing to be the hero or the victim of every single story. So based on Bill Eddy's model of high conflict, and he runs the High Conflict Institute, does lots of great work on this. They have something called all or nothing thinking, also known as black and white thinking, which is the splitting, psychological splitting, where you are all bad and they are all good. So nothing you do is ever good enough. You would have felt this in the relationship. Not at the start, when obviously everything you did was perfect and wonderful. But as you're now no longer of any use to them, or you're deemed to be, you know, abusive to them because you've hurt them in some way, then they split. Because it's a protective mechanism for them. They have to split for their own safety, but also to protect them from you, because they genuinely feel you are a threat to them. It's all made up in their head, obviously, because of their own childhood, but they believe that. So those patterns of all or nothing, black and white, these are all things that you would have seen in the relationship and certainly post-separation that are going to tell us a lot about how they're going to behave in court. Blame shifting, as I started off with, when you're just trying to have a conversation about something, they will think that you're blaming them, and then boom, they have to blame you for it. Even when they've done something wrong, they'll find a way to blame you for it. They cannot and will not accept any responsibility for any wrongdoing because their fragile sense of self just cannot manage it. They are deeply protective of that false self that they have created, and anything that challenges that has to be shut down and pushed onto you. This is why they project their behaviours, because they couldn't possibly have done that. It must have been you. And if they did do something wrong, it must have been your fault, because they're not, that's not who they are. They'd have no sense of self-awareness whatsoever. They have an intense emotional reactivity. So something that, might be a bit annoying. So, for example, the car garage rings and says, oh, we need to change your wiper blades. Really simple fix, not too expensive. Boom, they go off the charts on that and drag you into this. It's your fault. You've been using the car. You must have done something. And it's this real disproportionate response to situations that has made you think, okay, what was that about? And that's real. That's a very good question, because it isn't about the wipers or, whatever it was. It is about something much deeper. It triggers that feeling of inferiority, because if anything goes wrong for them, they take it personally. They think, oh, it's me, I'm wrong. So they can't accept anything in their life not being perfect, because they think that says that they're not perfect. And then they target other people as the problem. So the garage will get it in the neck, in that window wiper example. You will get it in the neck. Anyone but them must be held responsible for why their life isn't perfect, because it can't be them. They are perfect in their own eyes. They're not really, if you go deep down, but this false sense of self is they have to be perfect in order to get by. So examples of that are false allegations, smear campaigns, obstructing contacts, or weaponizing the court. So these are like the general sort of things that to expect. But this assessment really helps you to dig down and deep into what those are. So you will... the reason I created this assessment was when I was working with clients one-to-one, what I found was that people were so far behind before they'd even get started, because the high conflict personality has been working on your downfall for years. Even when you thought the relationship was okay, they've been plotting an exit plan. They've been planting seeds around people, around the community, around professionals, so within school environments or nurseries or, with the GPs. They've been saying little things to undermine you already. So you are behind before you even get started on this. And so the high conflict personality assessment was to try and get you to catch up, essentially. It was to look at what was going on under the hood. Why were these behaviours happening? Not to diagnose them. This isn't a psychological profile as such. It is about, what do these psychological and behavioural patterns mean for you in family court? If they do this, this is what it will look like in family court. And it was to, like I say, to give you a chance to catch up so that you weren't thrown off guard when you got into the courtroom or into mediation and suddenly they were doing all of these things that you just, where the hell has that come from? It was to my attempt at evening the playing field, or leveling the playing field, I should say. And so if you're in family court with someone like this, their tactics will hijack the process. It will become that they will lead the process, even though, a judge, a professional, are meant to. They will be the ones that are driving the vehicle. They will be the ones that drive the narrative. And ultimately, it's all designed to make you look like the problem. This assessment will help you to understand that and to figure out what you're really dealing with, so you don't fall into those traps. Because that's what they've done. They've been setting these landmines for you. And so by understanding those things, you cannot fall into those traps and therefore not play along with the narrative. The narrative will get said anyway. You just don't need to play your part in it. So clarity is power. When you understand the patterns, you can stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. So the assessment itself is very short. It's about, I think it's 15 questions and it's free, and it's based on behavioural patterns from cases that I've used, from studying psychology, behavioural analysis, and those psychological frameworks. And it will ask you a variety of questions looking at how they've responded to particular things in the past, what are their coping mechanisms, what's their communication like in certain situations, all to get a picture of their triggers and their makeup, so that we can understand and predict the sort of things that they're going to do in family court. Again, this is not about labels. I'm not labeling them as a narcissist. I'm not labeling them as high conflict. I'm saying that it looks like they are going to be high conflict. And there's no judgment in this either. You know, I'm not here because I don't know anything about this on a personal level. I'm here because, boom, it happened to me. And so there's definitely no judgment in any of this. It's just insight. It's just something that I would have liked to have helped me understand. So it's about giving you that sense of control. So like I say, you're not falling into these traps. And just to know, your information is completely private. It's not shared with anyone. It is just you. They're your answers. And so make a note of them as you go through. And what you'll get from that is that validation, that feeling of, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. This is real. I'm not imagining it. I'm not too sensitive. I'm not all the things that they've said I am. And that can feel really good. Just to know, it's not about blaming them even. It's just about you knowing, okay, I've not lost the plot here. My sense of reality is still grounded. I know these things happen now. I understand a little bit more about why they happened, and it shows you that you're not the problem here. So we'll help you translate your experience into strategic language that professionals will understand. So we take you away from that love bombing, even gaslighting, although we can use that a bit more now, projection, all those colloquial terms. We can move away from that and start presenting that in a way that the court is going to understand. So once you've done the quiz, you will receive your results, whether you're a mild case, a moderate case, or a severe case. Again, it's not really about that label per se. It's just you've answered questions that suggest that the person you're dealing with is a severe high conflict person. Like I say, that's not a diagnosis in any way, shape, or form. And this will then, I will then share with you resources. You'll receive an email with resources, or every few days you'll get a new resource that will help you to understand things a little bit more, just to grow this picture. And this is all free, different resources to help you understand what you're dealing with and how to counter it. There will also be, I will talk about the court prep toolkit, which is designed specifically for these cases and to counter the behaviours that you will be vulnerable to. Nearly 1,000 people have taken this quiz, and it's massively helped majority of those people to understand their cases better. It has helped them to be more strategic. It's helped them to understand and not fall into the traps that their ex is setting for them within the court process, so that they can slow down that narrative, they can catch up and like I say, almost level that playing field. So you don't need to keep second guessing yourself anymore. We have a tool for you. This could be the first step in you feeling empowered in your case, because when you name the pattern and you understand it, you can stop playing into it. You can stop being used by them as a puppet to perform by them pressing all your buttons and you basically not knowing what they're going to do next, and so falling victim to their next attempt. So I recommend, invite you to take the free high conflict personality risk assessment. It takes a few minutes. You will get your results instantly and all those follow-up resources, and it could change everything for you. You deserve clarity. You deserve strategy. You deserve peace. Thank you.